Hello everyone, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, and welcome to the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues episode number 103. I'm going to be joined in just a few minutes by Sifu Guro Billy Brown of Progressive Martial Arts Training Systems. Sifu Brown is he's a pretty popular guy on the social media thing, pretty well known for his kicking ability and his trapping and what have you. Pretty dynamic guy, and so I'm looking forward to spending some time with him. So welcome to the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues with Sifu Billy Brown. The first time I used it with Bert Richardson, everything worked perfectly. Yeah, but since then, so I think we're live. I think everybody just heard us talking about Bert Richardson. Right. Okay, so let me get you up on screen with me, and then we will be, as they say, good to go. Yep. All right.
Sounds good.
That's how it works. Okay. So if now we have to be on our best behavior because now people can see us both.
Wait, is this not the Joe Rogan podcast? I'm sorry, I thought this was Joe Rogan.
Although Paul Bax does Paul Bax calls me the Joe Rogan of JKD.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, so welcome, man. I really appreciate your taking the time to do this with me.
Of course, I'm honored.
All right, so listen, okay, I'm gonna ask you a dumb question. All right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Are you from Texas, Louisiana, or Tennessee? Where are you from?
Louisiana. Yeah. Louisiana.
Okay. All right.
I've spent time in
I knew it was one of those.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, my first school that I ever owned was right outside of New Orleans. 1998, I think.
I was there 7 or 8 years before when there's a Shotokan and Tai Chi guy named King Lam. Have you ever heard that name?
I did. Yeah. I haven't heard that name in many years. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's where I was with Sifu Dan. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Back then. Uh-huh.
Very cool.
Yep.
It was a seminar? Or
yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Uh-huh. Yep. I think we were there. Gosh, I think we were there once or twice. And then I was back in that area, not in Louisiana, but you ever heard of Pass Christian, Mississippi?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. The reason why I say that is because in order to go to this part of Mississippi, I actually had to fly into New Orleans.
Oh, got you.
Yeah. Right. So I wondered if that. Okay. So that first school, how old were you when you had that first school?
I was almost 18. I lied about my age to sign the lease.
Ah.
Yeah.
So you and I have that age lying thing in common.
Well, I knew what I was going to do. I wasn't wired for anything else. I had to make a go at it, and I did it.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right. But your start in martial art was through your dad, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. My dad started me training. My mom says around 3 years old. I have memories around the 5-year mark. But yeah, my dad was a known street fighter. I hate using that term, but he was a very self-sufficient man. Very respected, and he had a blend of some very rustic Wing Chun and Okinawan karate was my first were the first arts that I trained in.
Okay. Okay. But then you ended up spending like formal time it was Tae Kwon Do, wasn't it?
Tae Kwon Do. Yes, sir. Right. When my father passed, I went through a depression, and my mom, she threw a phone book at me one day, and she says, "Pick a school." And I didn't know the names. Dad never went into the terms and names of stuff. He just said, "This is a punch. This is a kick." You get it? And
Yeah.
I saw 6th degree black belt. I said, "That's got to be good. It's a 6th degree. It's not a first degree. It's a 6th degree black belt." You know, I'm like 10. All right,
Yeah.
10 years old, 11 years old. And we went there, and I got very lucky. And I don't regret my Taekwondo years. In fact, I'm still a big part of Taekwondo community. My mentor is a pioneer in the art. Yeah.
Okay. Is that who's that in the Taekwondo pioneer?
Grandmaster Brad Whitlow. Yeah, I ended with him. He wasn't my first Taekwondo instructor, but I ended up with him. Thank God I did. I mean, he revolutionized everything for me. You know, gave me the work ethic. I mean, he has a strong, still to this day at 62 years old. His work ethic is unparalleled, and it still inspires me. But he's also one of the best kickers that I've ever spent time with. I mean, his kicking still can flabbergast me, and it still does. Yeah.
What's his Taekwondo lineage?
I guess the best term would be the ITF, if you're familiar with the different Taekwondo sectors. I guess we would come from the ITF, but our instructor was Grandmaster Bob Hardy. And I told you this off camera earlier. He had one arm, he has polio, Grandmaster Hardy. And I got fortunate to get with him because he didn't care really about the flashy tournament style. He just wanted to learn to hit you hard and put you down. And the discipline from that era is so valuable to me to this day. I probably wouldn't be half the martial artist I am if it wasn't for my Taekwondo years. That's true.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and it's obvious because the video stuff that I've seen from you, right? I knew it was Taekwondo that you had trained in. I mean, you can't hide it. You know, so what else from that? I mean, we'll get full circle on this, but like in the way you do things today, apart from the kicking stuff, what else, even if it's something non-physical, what else from Taekwondo have you kept?
The biggest thing overall, of course, the proper kicking lineage, and that kills me today with a lot of the Jeet Kune Do community, and they're neglecting kicking so much. And we can get into that in a little bit. But the biggest thing,
we have that in common too.
Yes, I know.
Because
you're a great kicker.
I noticed. Oh, well, thank you. Geez, coming from you, I feel honored. But I've noticed that a lot of younger people seem to have adopted the Dan Inosanto age 83 way of kicking.
Right. Yeah. And people also neglect, especially in the Jeet Kune Do world. Man, we're already kind of getting off on that already. But in the Jeet Kune Do world, people want to talk about Jeet Kune Do more than train Jeet Kune Do. And that's the biggest thing with me, man. I mean, Bruce Lee was an amazing kicker, but everybody today is like, "Oh, don't kick above the knee. You don't need to learn to kick good."
Yeah. No, well, whatever. Yeah. So okay. What else besides the discipline of kicking?
The biggest thing is that Taekwondo, and I can consider myself an old. We say old dog over here, old dog in the Taekwondo world, because I started in Taekwondo at 1990. So I kind of saw all the phases of Taekwondo over the years. And I have to say I was very fortunate because above all, our leaders, our instructors taught us how important discipline was. And discipline carry on to every art I have trained over the last 30 years. Yeah.
Okay. And you got your first degree black belt at age 13.
13. I got second degree around 14.
Your second degree black belt.
And that leads you.
Okay.
That leads me at the second degree level. I was already a very talented martial artist. I was very skinny, but I've always been very fast. And then I was lightning.
Yeah.
I mean, very few could catch it. And
Yeah.
so I thought that I was on top of the world. I could do things other people couldn't do. I got in a fight with an 18-year-old on a soccer field. And I kicked him in the gut and bulked him and almost went down to one knee, but he stood back up. He goes, okay, do that again. So I kicked him again, side kick, and he catches my leg and flips me. And then he just gets behind me and punches me in the back of the head till it was broke up. So it really wasn't hurt, but my ego was hurt very badly. So I was like, well, what am I doing? I can't even defend myself. And let me say this. It's not the art that failed me. I felt the art. Does that make sense? So
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So you ever hear that old saying, when the student is ready, the master will appear? You've heard that. Yeah. The next week, I walked into my Tae Kwon Do school with my head down, knots on my head from this 18-year-old hitting me. My mom broke it up with a bat. My mom jumped out of the door. She's crazy.
I like her.
My mom's crazier than me. She says, get away. Okay, well, that's another story. But I walked around the corner, and there was a little shorter, older man with a belly choking people out with sticks and hitting them with elbows and sweeping them and stepping on them. And I'm like, I got to learn this. And that was when I met a guy named Guro Ron Goen. I have to give him credit. He introduced me to Jeet Kune Do, to Kali, to Muay Thai. He introduced me to what I'm doing today. Yeah.
Right. And that was, you said that was around the corner?
Well, I walked into the building, and there's a corner room, and there was two rooms in the gym that I was learning Tae Kwon Do in. A small dojang and a big, large dojang. And he was in the big dojang with one person just beating the hell out of this guy. And I'm like, I walked up to him, and he became my instructor that day. And for many years, people don't know this, for a long while, he would just come to my house and train me for free. And as a kid, I didn't know that. I thought I was entitled to that, sort of. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know. Like, he's training me for free. I'm going to reap the benefits. But without him, I wouldn't be doing the things I do today. Yeah, so I have two main instructors. Okay. Grandmaster Brad Whitlow, and I've spent 25 years with him. Okay. I see him weekly. You know, and it's funny with him, and he's probably watching. I told him I was going to be talking about him. But he is doing what I'm doing now. Don't get me wrong, he's a Tae Kwon Do pioneer. He's still got that. But now he's cross-training in the Kali, in the Jeet Kune Do, in the combatives area of it. And he's amazing martial arts. So I have him, and I have Guro Ron Goins, who is where I get my start in Kali and Jeet Kune Do and everything else. He made me seek outside the box.
Yeah. Now, see, that's interesting, because a lot of people who might have been on the receiving end of a beating would turn around and reject the art. They wouldn't put it on themselves. They would put it on the art, you know? And so so imagine if, you know what I'm saying?
I do. It makes total sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what saved me, believe it or not?
Yeah.
What saved me was Guro Ron Goen, because I probably would have rejected it. But he was there in the same school, so I still got the best of both worlds, and I stayed, which I'm so grateful that I did, because I wouldn't be the instructor that I am. At this point in my life, I've been in more altercations than most everybody I know. I care much more about being able to share knowledge. All that other stuff, it doesn't mean much to me anymore. So I don't think I would be the instructor I am today if it wasn't for those Tae Kwon Do years.
Right. Yeah. Hey, what is, because I was reading up on your bio and stuff. What the heck is a twist kick?
You would call it an inverted front kick in Jeet Kune Do.
Okay.
Inverted front kick.
Okay. Yeah.
So a twist kick is an inverted front kick, but we usually twist it over a little more. Boom. See that twist?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait.
Very effective kick.
Okay. I have an image of somebody in Tae Kwon Do. Pugil Guan. Do you know who that is?
Vaguely, I've heard the name.
Yeah, I think I have an image of him doing that kick.
Probably so. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Koreans,
yeah, Pugil Guan.
the Koreans' way of kicking was very innovative. It's just now what people see in the Taekwondo world is, for us that know real Taekwondo, the stuff you see today, we understand why the world goes, don't do that. We get it. It's sad though. Yeah, it's very sad.
Right.
I haven't found a better kicking art than Taekwondo overall. Don't get me wrong, you have to add the Thai boxing. You have to be able to blend the savate. Even the punning Jockman in really close quarters is beautiful. But the Taekwondo taught us to use our legs sophisticated. Okay, for example, people that kick all their lives, their hips go bad. The reason why their hips go bad isn't because they're kicking all their lives. It's because they're not turning their hips over. They were never taught the mechanics of the human body. So the Taekwondo really changed the game with me. So when I do my Jeet Kune Do kicking, I try to use proper mechanics.
Right. I get it. Yeah. Hey, answer this question. Who taught Bruce Lee high kicking?
Yep, man. No.
Okay.
I've been in online fights about this stuff. I know guy that, and I'm not gonna mention his name, and I'm not talking smack about him. He's pretty well known online, but he watched a kicking video, not a Jeet Kune Do video of me. He watched just a kicking video of me, and he sent me a message, and he goes, "You're awesome, but I thought you was a real Jeet Kune Do man. Real Jeet Kune Do men don't kick above the knee."
Right. Yeah.
And I'm just like, listen, I don't use push-ups in fights either, but I still do push-ups every day. You know, just because we won't do it in a fight, don't mean we shouldn't train it. You know?
Yeah.
Good,
you know, it's like you mentioned the savate. Have you trained with Salem Asli? Did you spend any time with him?
I haven't. Not one time, and it's sad. I hope that in the near future that happens. Yeah. All of the savate instructors I have from like local gyms who a guy piddled with it a little bit. I have no real formal savate with high level guys like him.
Okay. Yeah, Salem has a saying, those who can do more can do less.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So if you can kick to the head, imagine how easy it is to kick to the knee.
And I tell this to people till I'm blue in the face. I don't do this art anymore to be able to win a fight every time I get in a fight, because guess what? I already know I can, because I've done it. I do this art for the future. I do it to be able to still do this when I'm 80. Guro Dan's a perfect example. It's so funny with him. He gets criticized for loving stuff other than Jeet Kune Do. It makes no damn sense. You know,
I noticed that you don't. I noticed that you don't. You don't really back down from these online discussions, do you?
No, this is the thing. I stay out of the politics, and that's cost me lots of certificates over the years. Let me tell you, I've had well-known, well-named. Should I not say? My wife's here to tell me what to say, what not to say. But offer me, say hello. I've had well-known, and I'm not gonna mention names, but offer me free certificates just to say that I'm certified under them. And so the politics side, I try to stay away from. What I will not stay away from is people insulting and criticizing the people who did this before us, who paved the way for me and you both, with no knowledge of the facts about it. I will not do it, because Guro Dan ain't gonna stand up for himself. He doesn't need to. He's so humble, but somebody needs to. Okay, and so, I don't have patience for that. And it don't have to be Guro Dan. It could be if you talk about my Taekwondo leaders, I will stand up for them too. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned Inasano. So from watching you move, to me, it looks like you trained with him, you trained with Vunak, and you trained with Eric Paulson.
Well, Well, this is the funny thing about Vu. Vu probably, he probably revolutionized my thought process to the point where I needed it. Because when I started doing the PFS material, it's right when I started bouncing in New Orleans. And I needed that mindset change because I thought I was this badass. And I went out there and I see my first stabbing or worse, and it changed everything. But I've never once trained with Vu. I used to talk to him on the phone all the time in the 90s, but he was still in California and I was stuck in Louisiana. But I never got to train with him. But I've trained with lots of his PFS instructors and students. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, so, you know what? That's incredible, though. See, that's one of the coolest things about Jeet Kune Do. The knowledge of Jeet Kune Do can be transmitted through talking.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean?
Very good.
Yeah, and that to me, that's an incredible aspect. Like we were having kind of that discussion all week long after my class, you know, because I'm one of those from the 80s who adopted the Inasano practice of talking for hours after class.
Yes, we did that too. Yeah, we still do. Yeah, we hang out and we'll drink Coronas after class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's when the good stuff comes out, man. You know.
That's right.
Yeah.
It upsets me that people want to see. This is the problem. I figured this out. People expect Sifu Dan or Guro Dan to be the embodiment of Jeet Kune Do because he was so close to Bruce Lee, but he never wanted that.
Right.
He's the only one that did what Bruce asked him to do. He really is. Bruce said, "Find your own way," you know. So they want him to only teach Jeet Kune Do, and they want him to do it the way that Bruce did it and move like Bruce moved. I admire him for the route he's taken, and I feel so bad for the slack he's taken over the years. That's uneducated. Yeah. You get
that. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's see. I think only 3 times today online have I had to sit down and write something to explain to some people, you know, what the heck is going on in the Jeet Kune Do world. You know what? I wanted to ask you this. So, okay, so give me the timeline again. So there was this school in New Orleans, and that was a Tae Kwon Do school.
Oh no! I was already teaching. I was already teaching JKD and Kali, but I was doing a lot. That time period, it was mostly PFS. It was mostly PFS. I had already trained with Guro Dan. I only trained with him one time at that point. So I'd already got into that world because I remember stepping in there. It was the first time was in Sifu Rick Tucci's school in Jersey. Okay. Yeah. And, which I don't think he owns that anymore, but you get the point. And it's a funny story to that too. I wrote an article about it, but that's the first time I saw it. I remember walking into this gymnasium and everybody looked solid, and I was like just blown away that I didn't see a sloppy person in it. And I'm only like 20 at the time, 21 at the time. Okay. You know? So the women were just boom, and I'm just like, wow. I mean, people were just, it was a different game.
Yeah. I'll tell you a funny story about my first time. My first time at the Princeton seminar. So Sifu Dan calls me up to demonstrate, right? So afterwards, the guy comes up to me. He goes, "So you're Dwight Woods?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, I thought you were white."
Oh, what'd you say? This is me.
He goes, "I thought you were a white guy."
That's funny, man. That's funny. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So how did you end up in Tennessee?
Ooh, that's a long story. How long do we have tonight? Okay, so this is it. I moved up here when I was 7. Okay, and to Tennessee. I moved at 7. Every summer, they'd send me back to my dad in New Orleans. My dad would train me every day for 3 months.
Right.
I looked forward to that the entire school year, and then I'd go back up here and live with my mother. Well, when I turned, like I said, when I turned 18, I said my thought process was to open up a school, but I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it in a place that around family. I felt like I had a. You get what I'm saying? And the only body up here was my mother. You get what I'm saying? And she ended up moving back to Louisiana anyway through it all. So,
Okay.
yeah, but it was a bad idea. It was a bad idea. I should have stayed in Tennessee and started the school from there, because Louisiana at that time period especially was not a good place to grow a new business, especially for a 18-year-old that didn't know what he was doing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that anywhere is a good place for an 18-year-old to start a business.
Exactly.
You know?
I knew I had the talent.
Well, you know what? Let me take that back. Perhaps today, online.
And you know back then too, and you come before me even, but back then you didn't have all the YouTube references. You didn't have all the. I saved up money one time to go see Zig Ziglar. He's the only martial art business person. He wasn't martial art related, but that's who I had to go see. I couldn't see, like, you didn't have all these leaders really in the martial art communities to help you grow your business like you do today.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Who else? Hey, man, I didn't realize you and I had so much in common, because so who else outside of the martial art world, but for business, have you studied with?
Zig Ziglar was a big one. And I know that some people say now he's outdated, and he passed away. I don't know how long ago now, but I end up going to 5 or 6 seminar weekends with him. So at that time he was the guy, because I got access to him. He was touring a lot in the South, etc. Then Brian Tracy, I started, came along, and just probably the same people.
Wait, are you sure? Are you sure we're not twin brothers?
We might be.
All right.
We might be.
If you say Jim Rohn,
yeah, not as much.
If you say Jim Rohn,
you're talking about, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So Brian Tracy.
But and now you got guys like Dave Kovar is a amazing business proponent too. I mean, he really is. I can give more shout outs. I mean, there's people in my town that have been here for 40 years that that you can look up to for being so successful like that. So what I'm saying. So today you just have more resources, not just from the martial arts side. I mean, anybody can go to YouTube now and watch a Dan Osano video, or go to YouTube and watch anybody's videos. But you also have the resources.
Nobody should suck. Yeah. Nobody should suck nowadays.
Yeah. It's just a different world now. But the online world can hurt us too, though. And it has. I mean, people, they're not going to buy your videos. I know some people have problems selling their videos now because the entire videos are online. So, so yeah, it can hurt us too now. But
yeah. Talking about online, are you your own webmaster?
I am. I taught myself to do code first. Now I don't. Now I do something easier. I do Wix, and I love it. I got 5 websites with them, and it's much easier.
Okay.
But I taught myself some code in the beginning. My websites looked a little stupid, but it was what I, it was what I did. But I built all my websites. Yeah. Many sleepless nights.
Did you ever use Microsoft Front Page?
In the beginning, but I went to Apple. I went to Max quick.
Oh, okay.
I really did.
I never did.
I couldn't build my videos as quick as I do, as professional as I do, without a Mac computer. I really couldn't do it.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you.
And I've sold my videos. I've sold my videos in nearly every continent, and people always send messages. They go, "What kind of video rig do you use? Do you use a $10,000 camera?" I'm like, I use a cell phone on a homemade rig that I made out of PVC. Yep. Not a nice cell phone, but it's still a cell phone.
Yeah. Is Wix really easy to use? Because I'm a WordPress guy.
No, it's easy, man. for your websites. I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to have a learning curve, but you can click on stuff. They'll lead you through it. Now I can do it in my sleep, and sometimes I do. I have insomnia. I've suffered insomnia for a while.
Okay. So now, just between me and you, there's a page on your website that you need to take a look at.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it bad?
I found one, and I'm like, it has a bunch of stuff on it.
Okay.
But it's just a bunch of stuff that.
The website you probably went to is getting an overhaul right now. I'm actually building a new website. Yeah.
That's
built a new one.
Okay.
Yeah, I just built a new one for my for Progressive Productions. I just built a new one for that, and it went live this last week. And so the main website's getting redone now. So that other one you might see. Yeah. I'll check it out. Though.
Okay. So I'm glad you said that. Your name is associated with a few different organizations. So let me call the names and then you break it down for me.
Okay.
Adaptive Combatives.
Adaptive Combatives. Okay. I'm going to explain why I did this.
Okay.
From being a bouncer since the age of 18, I did it for 20 years. I've seen a lot of violence and got good at violence. As I gotten older, I had to get out of that line of work. So what I wanted to do was separate my the community martial art curriculums to my combatives curriculums. I didn't want to blend them per se. Right. Because I want the beauty over here and the ugly violence over here. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So when I opened up, it's actually called Defend USA. Adaptive Combatives is the selling term I use, so to speak. But it's just the brutal experience that I've learned and the programs I've put together from that experience. Whereas the Progressive Martial Art Training Systems, or PMATs, is if you want to come in and learn the beauty of the martial arts. We got that too, which you can also apply. I'm not saying it's useless.
Yes. You
get the point.
Yeah. Okay. Profit.
Okay. I was in 2010. I was in a crazy altercation. I was working a bar, a college pub, and it was pouring down rain. And it was a freshly painted deck, and it got very slippery. A bottle, I'm not gonna get into details with this one, but a bottle was ripped out of a young girl's mouth, and it chipped her 2 front teeth. He just ripped it violently, and as soon as he did, I instinctively did my normal. I probably hit him with a headbutt, elbow, something like that, and I dropped him. But when I did the last elbow, I think I hit him with 2 or 3, my right leg slipped out, and my entire quad blew up. I tore my rectus femoris. It rolled up 6.5 inches, and that's where it sits today. So I fell in the most pain that I've ever been in, and they didn't know I was hurt that bad. That was the first out of 2 times I had to use my blade to end an altercation. But I did it. They rushed me to the hospital. More details, that we don't need to go into. So what happened was, through the depression of not being able to walk for 15 months, I couldn't walk for 15 months. I taught my classes in a rocking chair or an office chair. I got fat, man. I got to 385 pounds.
No.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I've always had, my legs were solid, my arms were solid, but I got because I couldn't walk for 15 months, and I was depressed. You get it, and in pain.
Yeah.
Well, when I could walk again, I rehabbed myself. I sat down and I put together a set training guideline curriculum, and I went from a size 44, 45 pant to a size 36 pant in 8 months. So,
wow. Nice.
8 months. I mean, it just flew off of me. And when people saw that, they're like, train me. And I'm like, well, okay, I'm going to take on 5 people. And that 5 went to 25, went to 50. And I just developed a unique approach to blending the body weight exercises with kettlebells and free weight is basically what it is.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. All right. Defend USA.
Yeah, that's the attack. That's where adaptive combatives comes from. That's the combatives module. That has my handgun program. It has my fight stoppers, tour tactics.
Got it.
It's the dirty side.
Yeah. And so go back to the business training. I got introduced to Brian Tracy through John Graydon.
Oh, and I used Graydon's awesome too. Mr. Graydon's awesome also.
Yeah. Right. So I joined. I'll tell you why I joined NAPMA. I joined NAPMA when I heard about fitness kickboxing. Because here's what they said. We're going to keep our shoes on. We're going to wear T-shirts. And we're going to work out to music. And I thought, that's my thing. Right? So I was like, okay, there might be something to learn from these people. You know? So I was an early adopter of the martial art business stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I had to modify, I don't know, 80% of it because 100% of it, well, no, because 95% of it was geared towards karate schools, Tae Kwon Do schools, and what have you. And so I wanted to ask you about that. As somebody who has that background, but now you run, let's call it a modern day school, what were some of the components that went into building the let's use a word that people throw around, the eclectic approach, so the non-classical approach, but you have the classical training. So what have you kept and what have you rejected?
Gotcha. Well, let me start with this. I've made every mistake in the book. Every mistake. And I've made a lot of them.
Brothers.
And I've made a lot of them more than once. For the first probably decade of running my martial arts school, I thought that my talent alone would pay the bills. If that makes sense.
Yes.
So I'm not a Brian Tracy, but I will tell you some of the points that I live by within my businesses. And one of them is this: don't dabble, become the master of what you are putting out there. Now, obviously, master, you know what I mean. Become know everything about it inside and out. And if you notice, when I don't, if something isn't 100% in my mind, I'm not gonna put it out there for people to see. I'm damn sure not going to teach it. If I know that this isn't going to help empower that student in some way, be it physical, emotional, any way, then I won't teach it. Does that make sense? So that's the first thing. Don't dabble, become a leader in that. And that goes back to reading the business books, going to the business. If you really want a successful business, that's the stuff you need to do. And that's the stuff I didn't do for a long time. Like I said, I've made every mistake in the book. But the things that have worked for me is that I become the leader in that, whatever it is. I'm not the leader at an MMA school. They got those down the road. You want that. But if you want this product, then I'm the leader in that. That's my mindset. Okay. The next thing is I stay critical of myself. That's important. A lot of people get comfortable and then you start coasting. I could say that because I did the same thing. I got comfortable. I'm making a lot of money this year. I don't need to do those things that I was doing. And now I look back and where's the money at? No new students. That makes sense?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you stay critical of yourself. And then I think the last thing is question everything. And that goes to your martial arts training as well as running your businesses in your every area of your life. You should stay critical of yourself and question everything. And never quit learning. I stayed a student. Guro Dan has been the perfect example for that over the years. And you know better than I do. You've been with him since that long ago. He is always the student. Yeah. So if you can apply that concept to your business, to your relationship, to your wealth, to your happiness, you'll be successful eventually.
Yeah. Well, see, sometimes one of the frustrating things for me is that a lot of people in the JKD world they don't seem to realize that JKD is a business philosophy as well.
Yeah, that's very good. Very true. Very true.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, when Brendan Burchard talks about frameworks and proprietary language, the first time I heard him think about that, I go, well, wait, think about it. The whole 3-letter abbreviation for whatever it is that we're doing, that comes out of the JKD clan, because Jeet Kune Do became JKD. The 5 ways of attack were all 3-letter acronyms, right? Many years later, people talk about the UFC and they talk about MMA. That's our stuff.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I've even heard for the years that they were using it for everything. Like, that food was good, it was like, that's some good JKD. You know?
Yep. That's it.
Yeah, man. I wish I would have been a part of that.
Yeah. So give me your take on some popular martial art phrases, right? So pressure testing. Give me your take on that.
I use that term also because of lack of something better yet. But okay, this is the thing. I wouldn't wish anybody to go out and get the experience in reality the way I did. I regret those 19 years. If I could have just go back and just do a decade, I probably would have. Does that make sense? If I could go back in time and just do a decade, because now all I have from those years are a lot of scars and injuries that are going to plague me till I die. But I have one more thing that's very valuable, and that's a realistic, experience-based look on violence that other instructors may not have. In fact, hell, many instructors may not have. So I do cherish that, because I can tell my students, knowing that I believe in my heart that this will keep you alive. So pressure testing is for all of us, but what I'm saying is so that you understand it, it's for people to get as close to that realism without going out and getting it. Does that make sense? Okay. Now the problem
so that's related. That's related to the second term then, aliveness.
Aliveness. Okay, well, let me finish with pressure testing real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. So but the problem with pressure testing, and what I see a lot, is it's not realistic. They're calling it pressure testing because they put a helmet on them and then they grab each other and they go in circles for an hour and they're like, we're pressure testing this. That's not even close to evoking the actual responses like adrenal dump, cortisol intake, stress, tunnel vision. All these things that the human body goes through when we're in a time of life situation, that's not going to get close to recreating those. That's the bad thing. So if you do it right, pressure testing is very important. To go into aliveness, that's a big term in some fractions of the Jeet Kune Do community lately. But aliveness has been, Bruce Lee, Dado Sato was using the term aliveness, so I get it. It's not becoming stagnant. When you're pressure testing realistically, you're going to have aliveness, because the goal of it, if you do it properly, is you have no clue what's going on. You don't know what kind of attack this is going to be. You don't know what kind of pressure that your training partner is going to put on you. So you have to have that aliveness, because what you become you become a target. So I like it. And it can also, aliveness can also relate to your mental outlook on it also. My instructor has something called ASA. He would punch it. ASA. ASA. Attitude, stance, angles. ASA. Attitude, stance, angles. You have to have the positive mental attitude. You have to have a correct foundation physically and mentally. So stance is for your mental stance also. And then it's all about the angles, we used to say. Okay, ASA.
Interesting. I get, people hear me say this almost every episode, but I get the sense that with you, that mental attitude is probably the most important aspect.
In fact, I've probably worked it more over the last decade than anything. Being able to, I got really good at being able, and again, we're all a product of our experience. That's bottom line. Because
Okay.
I was a doorman for so long, I kept putting myself back in that world. I don't even know why. Um, I got to the point where I could flip the switch insanely quickly and then turn it back off. And Vu was talking about this stuff in the early PFS days, but I didn't understand it. I was
Right.
too young to get it. I didn't have the experience to understand it. So the
Okay.
mental thing is, but also even in my classes today, I want the students to not only see that I can perform the art, I want them to not only see that I understand the art, at least to a proficient point to share it with you, but I also want you to see that my energy is transferable. I can make you happy, I can make you excited, I can make you angry, I can make you fearful.
Right.
Energy is transferable.
Right. Huh. Did you, was that a big lesson you learned during the rehab period?
The biggest lesson during the rehab period was endurance. What I mean by that is I got to a point where I had to just keep enduring. I had to show up and teach classes even though I could barely get out of bed, because
Right.
that's my job. That's my job
Yeah.
as a professional, but also as a human being. That's my calling. So I had to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes my mind didn't want to do it. Sometimes my will, like I said, I got depressed. I dealt with depression during that whole thing really bad. But
Yeah.
but that was the biggest thing, was enduring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Enduring.
Hey, did you lose any flexibility during that time? Because you can still do the splits, right?
I'm close. I can't do them anymore. I lost some flexibility. I also have a lot of limitations that people don't know about, especially my sparring partners. But
Okay, we won't say anything.
but there's some kicks like I was known for jumping about 8 foot in the air with both legs and breaking boards with both feet. I can't do that anymore because I can't push off and I can't land. So the high jump kicks are out, even though that's for show anyway. But it's also cool to say, look, I can do this. So those are out.
Yeah.
But I have lots of limitations. But the biggest thing is this with the leg: if I don't train it hard, I hurt more.
Interesting.
Because what happens is when you train it, you increase blood circulation, blood flow. You start just bringing stuff back, working like it should. But when you just sit, atrophy sits in, and the leg is constantly atrophy. Right. It's constantly deteriorating. But if I keep it active and keep it kicking, that's why I respect kicking so much. Not only because it's really a lost art, and the reason why it's lost now is because these younger generation don't want to take the time and discipline that kicking needs. Kicking, it's like real tedious or real art or real precision grappling or even real precision trapping is very tedious. Kicking is like that too, because you have to train it from a point of view where you can't just throw it at people and think you're going to get good. You actually have to take time to break down the proper mechanics over and over and over, thousands and thousands of repetitions.
Yeah. There was a time where the entire teaching staff of one of Miami's top Tae Kwon Do schools, they were my students.
Oh, awesome.
They trained with me. Jun Fan Monday mornings, Muay Thai Wednesday mornings, and Kali Friday mornings.
Wow.
And then they went off to their school in the evening and taught my stuff.
That's funny, man. I do that a lot too. I welcome my Taekwondo family to come train and cross train with me, and they do. And I love it. I love giving them something because I do think that my lineage of Taekwondo is the best. Of course, I'm gonna say that. I'm from that lineage, but it's the best that I've seen, or at least one of the best that I've seen. And the highest components of that lineage are amazing men on physical and other levels also. So kicking.
But
kicking is
they really helped me.
Yeah,
they really helped me with my kicking. You know, some of the, I mean, to this day we still do them. The kick count drills. You know, where you slide up, you chamber, you extend, you chamber, you put it down, you reset. You know, like I mean, even in fitness kickboxing, I adopted that. That's because So dig this, right? You'll get a kick out of this. So 1, you slide up. 2, you chamber, and then you go 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3. So now I got a whole bunch of girls holding a sidekick for 15 seconds.
Nothing burns more, man. For your legs and butt, kicking, man. Yeah. Nothing burns more.
Yeah. Yeah, because you've got a popular fitness kickboxing class, right?
We do. It has dropped some over the years because I think my focus changed. But we are. I'm opening up our headquarters. I'm relocating our headquarters in Tampa. I don't know if you knew that. And we're going to bring it back with a fury for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But for many years, we did.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I
started phasing them into just the Muay Thai program, and then fitness kickboxing is so seasonal for us that you would have 30 people in a class for 2 months, 3 months, and drop down to 3. It was just that way for me. Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about, because I'm interested in this.
Okay.
How you structured the curriculum for fitness kickboxing based on your background in all the other stuff. And then I got another question about curriculum.
Okay, as many as you want. The biggest change that I did was I wanted to make it like a martial art class. Not just kicking in the air or kicking freestanding bags. I wanted to make it where first class you're coexisting with a partner that's holding mitts for you. And in between,
was that hard to sell?
People loved it. People loved it because it was so different than everything else in the area. Yeah.
Okay.
And then when you're hitting mitts, they feel empowered when they're done. But when you're just kicking air, it's not as it doesn't give you the same endorphins. And also the risk of them hurting their elbows when they throw it out. It was just when you hit something. And look, my biggest thing is what I call consistency across the borders. What I mean by that is if I teach a fitness class, I want something in that class to be able to teach you to defend yourself to, even if you don't even know it's happening. When I teach a grappling class, for example, I am not a BJJ guy by any means. I don't teach with that focus. I teach it where I want you to be able to apply it on the street or on the mats. Does that make sense? Consistency across the borders.
Yeah.
So I got the girls hitting and kicking and coexisting with human beings right away. And then in between it, throw in body weight push-ups, sit-ups, a plyo workout, and by 45 minutes, they're done.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you think then Billy Blanks was so successful with Tae Bo just kicking and punching the air? Just marketing?
No. Yes, of course he had a budget or a great marketing budget, but Billy Blanks, it was timing. Sometimes the most biggest success stories only are big success stories because they got in on the right time. There's a certain time to buy a house. There's a certain time not to buy a house. There was nobody like him. He was an athlete. My lineage, my Tae Kwon Do family, they've sparred Billy in fights back in the day. Billy was a real martial artist, you know. So he was just good timing, and he sold it. He did a great job, man. Great job.
Yeah. I remember.
Oh man.
That brought people flooding into my school.
Yeah. And I was doing the same thing in the 90s. I was teaching Tae Bo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't start making hit bits till like 2005, 2004. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because a lot of people have said that, fitness kickboxers don't want to hit the focus mitts and the kick shield and what have you.
Yeah, but they don't we don't get that at all anymore. I think that programs like mine are starting to change things. But if you really want to get a good workout, you have to have resistance. Hitting a mitt is resistance. That gives you that intensifies the it makes the workout way more intense. It really does than just throwing stuff in the air. But it also gives a sense of realism. Like they go in, they're hitting stuff. So they see like, oh, this really could work.
Yeah. Okay. So now curriculum. What's the difference, if any, between your kids' curriculum and your adult curriculum?
Same curriculum delivered in a different way. I hate it growing up and people going, kids cannot do what adults can, just play games with them. Okay, and we have so many schools around here that you go out in front of, you drive past their school, kids are out playing basketball or kicking a soccer ball instead of learning martial art. I hate that.
Yeah.
So right away I wanted to change that. And let me tell you, over the years I've had kids that were better than the adults. And sometimes if you present the material to a child, that child will pick it up quicker than some adults. Because adults have all these preconceived illusions about what they think they want, what they think you're going to give them, and what they're going to become because of that. Whereas kids are just fresh mold me. So my kids can, my black belt kids can stick fight, knife fight, grapple, kickbox, trap. I can do it all.
Okay. And you use a belt system throughout the school or just with the kids?
Oh, that's a good question. This is one I've tried to talk about online some. Okay, this is how it works. Yes, I use a belt system. And that's probably mostly because, and here we go, people, eat me up online, because I want to make money. Lee was doing a level system. Well, he was doing a lot of different things. He didn't know the direction that he really wanted to go with that.
Right.
But most people do level systems. So like a white belt in the Jeet Kune Do program, or the Jeet Kune Do training methods program, a white belt is a level 1 phase 1. A yellow belt would be a level 2 phase 1. A green belt would be a level 3 phase 1. You get it?
What's the how many phases?
7 phases. I picked 7.
Okay. So first degree black belt would be phase 7.
First degree black belt would be first degree black belt would be a level 7 phase 1.
Okay. Wait. But you said you have 7 phases.
Well, okay. White belt, yellow belt, green belt, blue belt, red belt, recommended black belt, first degree black belt. That's in my kids program. Each one of those in the Jeet Kune Do program is a level. So white belt level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6, level 7. Level 7 is black belt equivalent. And then in the level you have 7 phases of black belt. First degree black belt, second degree black belt.
Oh, okay. You know why I was confused? Because we are twin brothers, but we have a different skin tone. I did it the other way around. We have multiple levels within the phase.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
I did that too. I did that too for a while, but then I flipped it because to me it felt like level and phases of that level. So I did that for years. That's
okay.
funny.
Yeah. We're definitely we you know your mom's still around, right?
Yes.
You gotta ask her.
Kill crazy.
Yeah, you gotta ask her about me, because we're too alike.
That's true. Well, I'm honored to be your brother from another mother.
Yeah. Okay, so now,
you know, the business side, I hate when people let me say this about the whole belt thing. I hate that today's generation of people will criticize a school, a commercial school. If I don't make money, I don't eat. I don't have another job. My life is martial arts.
Yes.
So people criticize us for using like a belt system, but does that belt system change the level of curriculum that student is getting? That's my question. Does it change anything at all? Yeah. We could use the shirts with just a plain circle like Sifu Lee did. We could go into the different colored shirts. We could do, it's the same gift wrapped differently.
Right. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. You know, I heard it was on an episode of Rogan's podcast, and the guy was telling him that now in jiu-jitsu, there are people who are selling guaranteed black belts.
Well, that's everywhere. That's every art. Yeah. But yes,
Ah,
in
yeah,
jiu-jitsu, yeah.
yeah. Hey,
Also, they're talking.
I'll
The jiu-jitsu
confess
world
to
is
you
also
though.
talking.
Yeah, I'll confess to you. You know, in the old days, we used to make fun of y'all Taekwondo people. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And and when I started to get into, I did Filipino martial arts before Jeet Kune Do. Many people
Okay.
don't know that. I didn't get it at the same time.
Oh, okay.
When I started getting into that other world, I started seeing that. But very few of them where I came from, very few of them would last on the mat with us. We were knocking
Right.
people out with head kicks left and right.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
I got a
No.
story from a yeah. I got a story from a
No.
very
I mean.
another inspiration of mine. I got to give him a shout out, Grandmaster Scott McNeely. He's also a grandmaster in Taekwondo, and but
Okay.
he is an amazing martial artist. He can do it all, and he was training with Adrian Chai. He was training with Guru Dan. He was training with them all back in the day. And the first seminar he went to, I hope you don't mind me saying this. The first seminar he went to with Adrian Chai, they started sparring, and he knocked the guy down with a spin heel kick, and they got mad at him. You know, because they said spar, and he's like, I'm gonna do what I know to do, and we're legendary for our spin kicks, and he whipped one. Yeah.
Right.
So you know, this is the thing. If you got really good Taekwondo background, your Muay Thai will be a different monster.
Oh yeah.
It really will.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I have an old student who, I mean, this guy is so unique. He teaches Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in China.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he came to me. He came to me as a Taekwondo black belt. And he just took to the Muay Thai like the proverbial duck to water, man. I mean, it was a thing. It was a thing. Yeah. So listen, what did I see a video or hear something about you and movie stuff in Europe or something?
Yeah. I am. My wife's over here going, careful.
Okay.
The script's not completely done yet. It's I can't do too much details, but yeah, and it's something. This is kind of funny. With Progressive Productions, I've made it a way where people can get my curriculum, and then if they do want to get graded in it, I have an online testing criteria, so to speak. You have to send me video of you doing that block, and then I get a panel of my judges, and we grade you. Okay. Well, one of the guys that I did that with, he's from the Netherlands, and now he's teaching my curriculum in the Netherlands. But he's also a inspiring director. He's got a few movies underneath him, and it's been a plan for a while, but he's finalizing some things. That's probably all I could say, but it's gonna be a fun experience.
Okay. Well, I don't want to tick your wife off, because I know that she's knocked out more people than Bruce Lee ever did.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. He just learned it. Now, can the attributes that those other arts give you, and the mentality even, because you have a different mentality in Muay Thai than you do in Kali. There's a different mentality in real tedious grappling than it is in boxing. So these arts can also bring a different mentality. So when you train and cross-train, and I'm a big believer of cross-training, when you train and cross-train, it increases your survivability rate on the street, because unfortunately, we don't know what kind of attack we're going to be presented with, and no single art has the combative answers to every combative question it may be asked. Does that make sense at all? Yeah. So I don't think you can call Jeet Kune Do a mixed martial art, even though it pulls so many other attributes from other arts.
Right. Yeah. I tell people, I mean, that was a question that was asked of me earlier today, and I was like, look, it's the training method, man. You know, it's training realistically, training in what Paulson calls high percentage probabilities, you know? So, I mean, a guy with your, a guy with your public service experience, right? You would be able to design training to approximate the reality of the situation, because you know what the reality of the situation can be. That, as far as I'm concerned, that's the Jeet Kune Do approach.
Sure, I guess, yeah. And my biggest thing is to be able to transfer that reality to my students. That's all I live for the students now. I've been through the violence. I've seen and been a part of nearly every violence you can probably imagine as far as human combat goes. That side isn't important.
Yeah.
The important side is making sure I can transfer the knowledge over to my students without them having to go through that. That's the hard part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The students is what.
All right. Well, listen. Let's start to wrap this up. Tell me something about yourself that you think people would be surprised to learn. You can ask your wife for help on this one.
Well, I have 4 cats. I have 2 bobcats. They're 40 pounds apiece, and one's 35 pounds.
Oh my God!
They're second gen bobcats, and so yeah, people may not know that. Yeah, I'm a cat guy. I watch it. I'll sit and watch them fight, and I let the brothers fight. They taught me a lot.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay.
He's also a sucker for them.
I am. I'm a sucker. I'm an animal person. Big time. At one point, okay, here's the biggest thing. At one point, I had 14 cats. That's true. I'm down to 4.
Okay. We might have to edit that out, because that might damage your reputation. Yeah, somebody's gonna go, oh, that Billy Brown, he's not as tough as he said he was.
We got to talk about your videos. You remember that? You remember our story? Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So so what is this?
Years ago, I was on eBay, and there was a guy, and I know this might be bad, and I hate to say it, but there was a guy claiming to sell 15 to 20 hours of vintage Guro Denosano seminars. It was like $600, and he downloaded them, and he claimed he had a fake name. I don't know who he is, but he said he was there filming them all. I bought them, okay, and I spent $580. It was my most prized possessions. You were in a bunch of them. Guro Ron Balicki, a young Guro Ron Balicki. I mean, all you guys from the old 80s era were in them. And I watched them videos religiously. Well, I was talking to Guro Ron Balicki one night. Guro, I hope you're listening to this. I was talking to him one night, and I told him about them, and he goes, well, I would love to see them. So I take the DVDs, I download them to my computer, and I mail them to Guro Ron Balicki. The next day, my computer crashed. I lost it all. So Guro Ron, if you are out there and you will take time and maybe put them on an SD card for me, I'd really appreciate it, Guro.
Okay, can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? It's what, 7/7/10 in let's see, 5 in about 14 hours. I'm gonna be with him.
Oh, tell him about this, please.
He's in Miami. He's in Miami this weekend. Yeah. So we're gonna spend the weekend with him. So I'll mention it to him.
You're in Miami. Okay, well, I'm fixing to be in Tampa, so we're going to definitely hook up some. Yeah, I know it's still far.
I wanted to ask you about that, because I saw something that said Florida Tampa headquarters. You're moving to Tampa.
Oh yeah. I sold my school. I sold my school to Jay Buppus. You see him in all the videos getting beat up. He's been with me for about 11 years. And and he's going to run the location here, and me and my wife are Gonna raise a family and retire in Tampa.
All right.
Yeah,
Oh, well, yeah.
we're very
Okay.
excited about that. Yeah, yeah.
Well, then, and do you have a timeline for that?
Uh, I can't say much, but it's getting very close. It's getting very
Okay.
close.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. If nothing else, you and I will probably see each other in Jacksonville when Sifu and Asano comes to town every year.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would
Yeah.
be. When was the
All
last
right.
time you saw him?
Hey, I didn't see him this year, so it would have been I didn't see him at all this year. So that means that I'm going to make up for it next year. So I'll probably he'll get sick of seeing me next year.
But I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah. Right. All right. So right now, with this in this interim period, how do people get in touch with you?
Well, you can. The best thing is to find me on Facebook, guys, because I post so much free material on Facebook and just fun material. That's a good way to get in touch with me. And I respond to messages right away. Visit Progressive Productions, proactionvideos.com. You can see all of our videos there. And those two ways are the best way. Yeah. And of course, empowerusa.net. You can always visit there.
Okay. All right. Now I got one last question for you.
Okay.
Is there anybody you can think of that I should have on the dialogues with me?
In the Jeet Kune Do world, Kali world? Probably the Jeet Kune Do world.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know what?
we might expand.
I would love to see. You haven't had Eric on yet, have you?
Paulson?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, no, yeah, I have. I had what did I call it? I called it the Minnesota Vikings, I think is what I called it. Because one week after each other, I had Rick Fay, Greg Nelson, Eric Paulson, like one after the other.
Those three people right there are like gold to me, man. They really are. You maybe should do an updated one with maybe Eric. I'd love to see that.
Oh no, I promised everybody who watches that next year I'm gonna go around again to I mean you don't talk to Rick Fay, Greg Nelson, and Eric Paulson just once. Come on.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. But I think you're doing a great job, and you're doing so much for the Jeet Kune Do world. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Let's do this again.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, look, it's like you said. Yeah, we definitely will. But it's like you said. I swear to you, we're definitely related because this is all I know to do as well. I can't do anything else.
Here's a story for you to end it. First time I met Guru Dan, like 2001, I think it was. I told him that I just drove 25 hours, which I did. I drove 25 hours from New Orleans to New Jersey. And I told him what I did. And the first, you know how humble he is. He's like, "You did that for me?" kind of. I'm like, "Well, duh," But he says, "You're from New Orleans?" He says, "I guarantee you have Filipino in your blood." I'm like, "What do you mean?" So you know how he gives you the historical breakdown of everything, And he said, "I bet you did."
Yep.
Well, years later, my family did a family tree on our history. And they dated it back to the 1500s. It was amazing. And above other things, I had one relative in 1886 that was Indonesian. I thought that was real fun. I'm like, you're a damn do something, didn't you? Yeah. It was crazy. Yeah. Indonesia, Philippines.
Yeah. Isn't that something? Yeah. I mean, no, man. That see for people who don't know, this is what they don't know about how cool our lives are because of Jeet Kune Do. You know what I mean?
People just need to get back to training.
Yeah.
Get back to training.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, my friend. It's been an honor and a pleasure to spend some time with you.
Let's do it again, and we'll do this on the beach next time.
All right. Sounds good to me, man.
Out there,
all right. You take care, okay? Alrighty. Okay, that was episode number 103 of the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues with Sifu Billy Brown. And like he said, best place to check him out would be on Facebook. So feel free, like, share, comment, ask questions if you want. Sifu Billy and I will go through everything, and if there's anything that needs to be answered. Sign up for notifications when we go live here on Facebook. As you can see, we're still having some issues with the platform, but we're working on it. Every week we're trying to find a way to bring something better to you. So still sign up for notifications when we go live here on Facebook, and also subscribe over on the YouTube for the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues, for the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast, and for the FMA files, which will become a regular gig early in the new year. And when you subscribe over on the YouTube, please hit the notification bell so that you know when everything comes up. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods, and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. ilovejeetkunዶ.com. The Quick Skills series Volume 1 still available. Volume 2 will be filmed sometime next year. What else? Next Friday, which is December 20th, we should be on at 6 p.m. regular time with Martin O'Neill of JKD Ireland. So tune in next week for that. But before that, next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, regular time, another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. All right, so everybody have a great weekend. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. Take care now.